Good things and bad things happen to everyone, but the individuals who are most happy are the ones who manage with both these and equanimity. Therefore, the good and bad don't define our lives. They are just most fragments of a much larger picture. In addition, cultivating this big picture view allows us to navigate more easily between the good, the bad, and everything in between. Carol, a young mother of only 24 years old who at a young age had already 3 children. She dedicated her day taking care of her children, but for a few months, her husband has lost his job. The girl hardly slept. She watched an iron for her neighbors in exchange of a few coins. They did the housework, and every time they call her to clean the houses of her neighbors, she enlisted her children and went out to work with them. Life for Carolyn was so busy that she had not realized she had been pregnant for many months. When she realized she was already almost 7 months pregnant, her tummy was growing, and the girl was noticing this by her condition. She had no choice but to keep working. One day she came back early from cleaning a house. When she entered her room, she decided to go to bed a minute before making dinner. Her surprise was huge when she looked at the screen and saw a message from a woman who said, "I think it is time for you to tell her the truth. I will not be able to wait forever. You must decide if you stay with her or come with me." Carol's eyes clouded. I couldn't believe that this was happening to her after all she had fought for her family and father, men she loved so much. Coming from pain, the girl left the room and confronted her partner, who denied it. The man was offended because she did not have to go around looking at his things. Her only duty was to attend to her children, said this. The men left the door angrily, but the girl did not know what to do because her husband had many times that the message was not for him and that he must have been from someone else. Desperately, she looked at the bed and none, it was a note. "Sorry, my dear. I did not have to leave, but you can understand me." That was all that said that the girl is not here. He had left for that woman. Everything was true, but she had ignored him. Carling felt very foolish and devastated. She had disbanded so many years of her youth with a person who had never cared for her or her children. It was at that moment when she realized she would give her little wounds as she was about to have a baby. Now that she was alone, the worst thing to collapse around her. Carol dried up her tears and took strength from where she had not. Got up and took charge of her house, repaired dinner, and the children ready to go to bed, gave them a goodnight kiss, and in a solitude of her room, she decided that she alone would bring up her children. This was how, with 8 months pregnant and 3 children, she worked tirelessly for hours to be able to give a plate of food to the most important little people in her life. She wore down her delicate hands, scrubbing other people's clothes rapidly. Her delicate hands scrubbing other people's clothes repeatedly. Her back ended up sore from scrubbing the floors of her neighbors, and her eyes were already tired at the end of the night. But the truth is, she was happy to see her little onesie. While Carol was at a neighbor's house cleaning with her little ones, a terrible colleague attacked her. The woman who was grabbing the stairs tried for these because her legs could not bear her anymore, and she fell to the cool floor of the house. Her children run scared to her, and as they could, they dragged her to the room they asked for help and called 911. Anyway, it didn't matter. He had preferred to go with another woman instead of staying with his family. The ambulance arrived, and they took Carol and the little ones, who did not want it to be separated from their mother. When they arrived at the hospital, it was very full in the area of childbirth. They did not have a single free stretcher, so they left a poor woman in a corridor with the little ones who were scared for their mother. When Alice was Carol's turn, in a hurry, the doctor tried to treat her and took us to the operating room because her delivery had been complicated by all the hours of waiting and the previous fall that the young woman had suffered. When everything was ready for the operation, the doors of the operating room were open and Atonement with dark glasses entered. His voice was heard throughout the place, and he rushed the staff to transfer the woman to the best operating room in a private area. Carol was because this person was her husband. The doctors rushed to take her to the best service as her husband has demanded. He stayed all the time with his holding her hand and giving her all the strength she needed until the moment arrived. A beautiful girl was born. When Carol woke up, she had many questions because she did not understand why her husband had returned and was right next to her. The men looked at her without tenderness in the world and gave her a kiss. "Forgive me for leaving you with a simple note, but I had to travel immediately to the capital because a few months ago I discovered that I have a sister. She has a very large company. I told her about us and that I wasn't employed. So one day she offered me to go to the capital to work in her company. That was the message you saw, but I didn't know what to do." Tears fell down Carol's cheeks. She had misjudged her husband and distrusted him when he had only sought the best for his family. But Carol had proven that she's a wonderful woman and a good mother who had not hesitated to do everything in her power so that our children always had a plate of food in their table, and that is something that everyone in this world should value. Thanks for watching. Tap on for top videos on the screen for another amazing story.